I think that's why I'm so excited, is because I have been blessed to see what it looks like under the goat. And now you're going to the baby goat who's been, all the eyes are on her all around the world. And so it's just kind of a cool experience for everybody.
I have been blessed to see what it looks like under the goat, and now you're going to the baby goat. That's Sophie Cunningham, a WNBA veteran, talking about joining the Indiana Fever and playing alongside rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. While some critics and haters keep trying to diminish Clark's impact, Cunningham, having seen greatness up close, sees something truly special. But is Cunningham's arrival more than just another player joining a team? Could she be the missing piece to unlock Caitlin Clark's full potential and finally ignite a Fever resurgence?
I am joined by Indiana Fever's Sophie Cunningham. And I just said Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham. You have been with the Phoenix Mercury for 6 years, now heading over to Indiana for the 2025 season. What does that feel like? How has that transition been?
Sophie Cunningham isn't just coming to Indiana to drain three-pointers. She's built a reputation as a feisty player, someone who isn't afraid to mix it up. In a recent interview, she declared herself ready to be the enforcer this young Fever team desperately needs. Think about it. Caitlin Clark has been facing relentless physical defense, a target on her back since day one. Having a veteran teammate willing to push back to protect her could be the difference between the Fever being good and becoming truly great.
You know, it is so funny that you even said that, because I'm still like, I'm so excited, but I'm still not used to it, just because I've been drafted out here. I've been here for 6 years. And so a couple weeks ago, I threw on the Indiana jersey for the first time, and everyone's saying I'm a Fever. And so I'm like, oh, I gotta get used to the new me, which I love. I'm so excited for. I think it's just such a great opportunity. I'm excited to play with the players that are there, play under the coaching staff that's there. And so I think this is just a new and exciting era for me. And everyone that I kind of partner with.
To understand just how big a deal this is, you have to remember where the Indiana Fever have been. We're talking rock bottom. Just a few years ago, they had a dismal 5-win season, followed that up with another losing season, even after drafting Aaliyah Boston, a #1 overall pick. This wasn't just a slump, it was a franchise seemingly lost in the wilderness. But listen to Cunningham now. She's talking about a new and exciting era in Indiana. That's a seismic shift in tone and expectation.
I think Indy, those from my year 1 through 3.5. Well, let me just say this. I went through my 7 years in Indy. I've had 4 head coaches. So that within itself was kind of like, no one really knows what an experience of like the black stick at the bottom. Trust me, I've been there. Trust me.
Then came the 2024 draft. The Fever landed the #1 pick, and with it, Caitlin Clark. Suddenly, everything changed. Caitlin Clark isn't just any rookie, she's arguably the most consequential rookie in WNBA history. Overnight, the Indiana Fever went from being an afterthought to the team everyone was talking about. It was like an earthquake hit the WNBA landscape, and the epicenter was Indianapolis.
When y'all left, it was still a rebuild stage. So different coaches got hired. And I think that at that point, Delby was trying to figure out whether I was keep swimming or if I would sink individually. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what would happen in my career. I didn't know how it would turn out, because the points were the points, the accolades were accolades, but it wasn't enough.
But with that spotlight comes intense heat. Almost immediately, the skeptics emerged. Could Clark's college game translate to the pros? Could this young Fever team really compete with the established powerhouses? Basketball analysts voiced legitimate concerns. Remember Diana Taurasi's now infamous Rude Awakening comment? It wasn't just trash talk, it reflected real doubts about whether Clark and the Fever were truly ready for prime time.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
The start of the 2024 season seemed to confirm some of those fears. The Fever stumbled out of the gate. They looked disjointed, chemistry was lacking, and Clark was facing a level of physicality she hadn't encountered before. Opposing teams seemed to be taking turns giving her a welcome to the WNBA lesson, with extra bumps and bruises included. The Fever's weaknesses were glaring. They lacked toughness, their shooting was inconsistent, and crucially, they had no veteran enforcer to step in when things got rough.
Are you in a position where you can add some pieces? Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position. And I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you.
But the Fever's front office wasn't standing still. They recognized the problem and acted decisively. In a move that could be seen as one of the most strategic rebuilds in recent WNBA history, they went out and acquired a buffet of veteran talent. Sophie Cunningham, Dana Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sydney Colson, these weren't just warm bodies. These were players with championship pedigrees, players who understood pressure, players who could teach the young core what winning at the highest level truly demands.
It's a wonderful fresh start for you. But before we look ahead, I kind of want to look back on your experience in Phoenix. Like you said, you were drafted there. You spent the last 6 seasons with the GOAT, Diana Taurasi, who just announced her retirement. What have you learned from her?
Oh man, I think we could sit here for days if we really went into that. But at the end of the day, I think that Dee is one of the best humans I've ever met. She has one of the best hearts. The way she not only thinks about life, but the game is just on a whole nother level.
Of all these veteran additions, Sophie Cunningham made the loudest entrance. While the front office was making moves behind the scenes, Cunningham dropped a bombshell during her media tour. Most veterans play it safe, offering generic praise to rookies. Not Sophie. In a candid interview, she declared, "I think I am built for this." She saw this trade to Indiana as destiny, a turning point in her career. It was a statement that left basketball analysts speechless and ignited excitement among Fever fans.
But you went from playing with a true legend of the game to now a rising legend of the game in Caitlin Clark in Indiana. What is it about her? What have you observed about Caitlin Clark now that you're going to be one of her teammates?
Where does this confidence come from? Well, Cunningham spent 6 seasons in Phoenix playing alongside Diana Taurasi, arguably the greatest of all time, the GOAT. She calls Taurasi one of the best humans I've ever met, and says she learned invaluable lessons from her, not just about basketball, but about life in the spotlight. Those years in Phoenix, with all the trials and lessons, Cunningham says, built me, it's made me tougher. She's bringing that toughness, that hard-earned wisdom to Indiana.
It was exactly what Cunningham needed after she got, quote, too comfortable across 6 seasons in Phoenix. Now she tells the New York Post that she's equipped to thrive in the spotlight while playing alongside Fever superstar Caitlin Clark. Quote, I think that since I've been out here in Phoenix, it hasn't always been easy, Cunningham, 28, said while discussing a partnership with Quest Nutrition. There have been a lot of trials. There's been a lot of lessons learned, a lot of experiences that I thought was just like any WNBA team. But I think it's built me. It's made me tougher. It's tested my persistence and my mental quite a bit.
Adding to the intrigue, there's a playful irony to Cunningham's arrival in Indiana. At the 2024 All-Star Game, she joked with Clark, "Hey, if you ever want to come to Phoenix, let me know." It backfired hilariously. The basketball gods had other plans, sending Sophie to Clark, and about that intense spotlight on Clark, Cunningham is unfazed. None of that is intimidating to Cunningham, the transcript says. She's already declared herself tough and ready to embrace the pressure cooker of Indiana Fever basketball.
I think it's built for me something bigger and better in the stage that we're about to be on with the players that I'm about to be with. I think I am built for this. So she's telling you she's ready. Did you pick up on the, I think it's made me tougher? Because look, they're not only going to come after Caitlin Clark, they're going to come after Miss Cunningham too. That is a fact. Unfortunately for her, I have a feeling she's not going to back down from anybody.
Cunningham isn't just joining the Fever, she's actively defending Caitlin Clark. She's pushing back against the critics, acknowledging the unprecedented pressure Clark is under, and pointing out that most people haven't walked in her shoes. Beyond that, she's genuinely excited about the Fever's offensive system. She sees a ball-sharing motion offense tailor-made for both Clark's passing wizardry and her own sharp shooting. Remember those doubts about whether players would want to play with Clark? Cunningham is proving them spectacularly wrong.
Clark's fame put the team under a microscope, which opened the floodgates for scrutiny and constant attention. The Fever had to increase security when they drafted the Hawkeyes legend. None of that is intimidating to Cunningham. Here we go. And she's already said she's tough. Now we know she's not intimidated. Who's ready to chase a championship with a new look Fever? Quote, I think that's why they brought in a lot of veterans who have that experience, Cunningham said. And I'm not saying that they have the experience of hundreds of millions of followers watching you, watching your every step, but I do feel like they brought an experience of how to gel in the locker room.
And the on-court chemistry, it's already sparking. Cunningham shot 40% from three-point range in 2022.
I'm refocused. There's a different type of vibe and energy about me, she said. I think I'm always kind of happy, go lucky, go with the flow, and I'm still that. But I'm also like ready to dial in and get a championship because that's something I haven't done yet. So I'm going to do anything in my power to help the team do that. It's time for me to level up. Very interesting indeed. So she's ready.
A perfect complement to Clark's playmaking. Imagine the scenario. Clark drives, defense collapses, quick pass to Cunningham in the corner, swish. This exact play has already been seen in preseason. Cunningham's three-point threat transforms the Fever offense, creating space for Clark to operate and opening up passing lanes for the entire team. It's a dynamic duo in the making.
She sees the complete picture of what makes this roster special.
She's making it clear. She's ready, joining this squad. And look, remember when Cheryl Swoops and some of the other media was like, I don't know if any players are going to want to join Caitlin Clark. Boy, that turned out to be some fraudulent activity, did it not, by the media?
But the true value of this partnership might be what happens off the court. During timeouts, after tough losses, Cunningham brings that veteran presence, that Torresi-taught understanding of managing expectations and pressure. For Clark, facing unprecedented scrutiny, having Cunningham as a mentor could be crucial, and when Cunningham talks about winning a championship, it's not just hype.
She has that same mindset that Dee has, and I've learned a lot on how to become a pro and how to get to where I want to be with Dee every single day and how she just does things. You know, I was a sponge around here. I saw her habits, her do's and her don'ts. And I think when you have someone like Caitlin, she doesn't really need a lot of help, right? Like she already knows how to play the game. She knows where she wants to be. She has an itch and a willingness to do whatever it takes to win.
It's a calculated assessment of a Fever roster that has been completely transformed. What once seemed impossible, a Fever championship now suddenly looks like a very real blueprint for success. The Fever are rising and Sophie Cunningham is ready to lead the charge.
For me, I want to have a lot of fun with her. I want to win a lot of ball games. I want to win championships with her, but I also want to make sure that she's good off the court as well. And so I'm hoping that she leans on me if she wants it. And I think that's why I'm so excited, is because I have been blessed to see what it looks like under the GOAT. And now you're going to the baby GOAT, who's been, all the eyes are on her all around the world. And so it's just kind of a cool experience for everybody.
We definitely have the pieces, Cunningham declares. We've turned a lot of heads in this offseason. From rock bottom to championship contender in one offseason, it sounds audacious, but the pieces are there. Experienced winners alongside explosive young talent.
They haven't won a championship since 2012. Is this year the year? Does this team have the pieces?
Man, you know what? We definitely have the pieces. I think our front office and our coaching staff, they did a heck of a job of bringing young players who are wanting to win with experienced players who have won. And now you just got to make it all gel. And so I do definitely think we have the pieces. I think we've turned a lot of heads in this offseason of what our team is looking like. But no, we are all still very new to each other. We have to build that chemistry. We have to build that rhythm.
That's the formula for champions. The critics are adjusting their tune, fans are buying Fever jerseys, and something special is brewing in Indiana. The revolution is here. Are you ready for the Fever to rise?